Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Screenstars. Welcome to another PlayStation review. Today, I'm taking a look at Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown for the PlayStation 5. Now, this is a game that I've been hotly anticipating ever since I saw gameplay of this several months ago. My heart sank initially because I thought, oh, it's just going to be a PC release. And then when I saw that it was coming out on consoles as well, I was very, very excited. If you know my channel, you know that I'm a big fan of Star Trek. Most forms of Star Trek. I'm not so keen on the modern stuff, but big fan of the original series, Next Generation, so on and so forth. So I was very, very excited for the prospect of this game. I enjoy Voyager. I won't say it's my favourite Star Trek show, but compared to some of the Star Trek that we get these days, it's a bloody masterpiece. So, I mean, to take control of the Voyager and kind of do like a what-if scenario, it's almost like too exciting to think about, really. And that is really the structure of this game. It takes you through almost like on an episodic basis of episodes that you will remember from the TV show. However, you can make different decisions that will have different outcomes than what really happened on the show. And it's like a tactical management sim in a lot of ways, with a little bit of real-time strategy combat thrown in. So you've got your crew to manage. At the beginning of the game, Voyager is critically damaged. So a little bit like Fallout Shelter, I suppose. It's got like segments in the ship itself, and you've got to kind of build it up. So you've got to make sure there's like a mess hall, there's like quarters for the crew, science labs, workshops, photon torpedoes, engine rooms, you name it. There's a whole array of different rooms that you need to build. Some of them are absolutely crucial. Some of them are almost like a luxury, like the holodeck. But if you do, build the holodeck, it will increase the ship's morale. And that's one thing you have to balance in this game. It's the ship's morale. If the ship's morale drops to 0, it's game over. So you've got to balance their morale because they have been thrown light years away from home. They're already pretty depressed, so you've got to keep them happy. Same with the hull. If your hull levels drop to 0, the ship is destroyed, it's game over. So you've got to make sure that you keep the hull in good working operation. And then you've got a load of different resources that you need to manage your ship. Essentially, you're going to need research points because you're going to need to do a lot of research here to kind of create new rooms, create new technologies, so on and so forth. Dilithium, like stuff to keep the engines running. Food, you're going to need lots of food to keep the crew fed and happy. Research points, like crafting materials. You need a balance of all these things in order to build new technologies or upgrade the technologies in the rooms that you've already got and balance it all. Now, thrown in between all this, so you'll kind of go from system to system. You'll end up in one system. You can scan all the planets and all the debris and things in that system, and it'll tell you what resources you can get in that system. And you look at what you need most. You fly there, and then you collect your resources. And there's like little mini games if you like to collect your resources. Nothing particularly in depth or anything like that. But also, in between that, you've got like your missions in those sectors to do. So there'll be like cutscenes with Janeway talking to the crew. It's all text-based, unfortunately. The only time you ever really hear a voice is at the beginning of a new sector. You get like logs from Tuvok and Parrish, Lieutenant Parrish, and it's actually the actors' voices. Beyond that, there's nothing in the way of speech. It's all text-based, which is a little bit disappointing, but it's got a lot of the Star Trek sound effects and stuff, so it still does feel quite immersive. So in between, like I say, gathering all the resources in different sectors, you've got your missions to do. Some of those missions will have critical decisions that will have lasting effects, and some of that will result in death of crew members or recruitment of new heroes, as they call them, into the crew, like 7 of 9 and things like that as the missions go on and you meet with Borg for the first time. And then there's even away missions. So you've got to use like the transporter room. You've got to choose who you're going to send down on the away missions. You've got to choose people with varying degrees of experience. So people with like combat skills, engineering skills, diplomacy skills, that kind of stuff. And you got a nice balance, because then when you get down there, there's like little problems that are thrown your way, and you've got to kind of choose the right response. So if you've got somebody down on an away mission who's really good at combat and it's a combat scenario, then it'll give you a number. You know, it'll say like, oh, you need somebody with a skill level of 60 to successfully pass this bit, and you might have somebody there with 65 combat, so you're going to get through that. But sometimes you might not. You might not have somebody who's skilled enough to get you through that bit, so you might fail it, and that will end up in, like, say, that person getting injured or fatigued, that kind of stuff. But it's really nice to have like the away missions, even though they're not massively immersive, because you're not walking around a planet or anything. Again, it's all kind of cutscene based and text based, and that's really what the most of what you're getting here. And then there are sections of combat as well. Now, don't get too excited. I mean, the combat bit is functional, if a little bit underwhelming, I suppose it's fair to say. I don't mind the combat bits. You go into the combat, you choose a number of heroes to help you in the combat scenarios. You choose whether you're going to go defensive or attacking, and then you can fire photon torpedoes, and it does phasers, and then you can use like the special skills of the crew that you've sent to help you, and it might be like different maneuvers, or increase your shields. And then if they're getting the upper hand and they're taking your shields down, you've got to change to defensive, and then put your focus on shields to kind of keep the hull safe and keep the crew safe. But combat, generally speaking, is pretty easy, I've found, and it's over fairly quickly. And like I say, don't be expecting too much from the combat. It's fairly underwhelming. And I think it's fair to say that this game, I think, is going to be fairly divisive for a lot of people. I think a lot of people are going to be pretty underwhelmed, stroke disappointed with it. However, if you are a huge Star Trek fan, as I am, I'm not going to lie, guys, I've been having a great deal of fun with this game. I've really enjoyed it. I like the laid-back approach to it. I like the critical decisions you got to make. I like most aspects of the game. The management of the crew, management of the resources, the missions. You do feel like you kind of, on the bridge of the Voyager. So I do really like that aspect of the game. But I would imagine if you're not a fan of Star Trek and you were hoping for like something a little bit different here, like a really immersive space strategy game, you might be a little bit disappointed with this one. I think this is some people are going to love this and some people are going to hate it. And I'll be honest, guys, I'm in the camp of loving this. I have put a ridiculous amount of hours into this since it was released a couple of days ago. It's all I've been playing, and I'm going to carry on playing it. I really, really enjoy this, guys. But just be warned, it might underwhelm you if you're going into this, but if you like what you're seeing here and it interests you and you think, from what I'm saying and what you're seeing, it might be a game for you, give it a go. I'm giving it a fairly strong 8 out of 10 because I'm having a lot of fun with this game. So thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you found this review useful.